All right, so this next car we're about to talk about, you're probably gonna be like, dude, what? Seriously? Like a newer SUV? Like, who cares? Guys, somebody cares. I don't know who they are, but I'm sure somebody does. Either way, every car's got a story, and we're here to tell it. So, here's your Monday morning memory from Pugliese Speed Shop. So, you guys might be able to see from here, but if you can't, I left the book open. And I left it open because it's, well, mainly because this thing right here is busted, and I refused to fix it. So I figured, why keep flipping through stuff? But just so you, man, I still can't get it right. Anyways, this here, we decided to take pictures in the dark, and it's not the only pictures we have of this thing. But this here, I'll zoom you out as usual, is Megan's 2003 Ford Explorer. It's got the leather, man.
Got the leather, man.
All right, so let me set the stage for you. This way you understand why we're out here buying 2003 Explorers. Um, I mentioned when we moved from California out to North Carolina, right before we left, Megan's Bravada had a rough time. And when I changed the fuel pressure regulator, and then halfway across country it broke again. I changed it again when we got to North Carolina. Then it was out of warranty. Had been out of warranty. It had the worst transmission that Oldsmobile ever made. And Oldsmobile went out of business. And I just kept buying fuel pressure regulators. Things were not going well. All right. Now I tell you that story, or I already told you that story like probably a month or two ago. To tell you this one, my father at the time, was he the finance manager? I think he was at a Ford dealership, and he said, "Hey, let's get Megan into something reliable." I was getting ready to go on deployment. We had decent vehicles, but none of them that I trusted 100%. So, she liked the Explorer. She wanted SUV. She had the Bravada. It was spotless. She kept that thing beautiful. So, let's get her first brand new car. So we do. We head to the dealer, kind of tell my dad what we're wanting. He's kind of telling me we're screwed because all those things with Oldsmobile, she still owed some money on it. And, yeah, there wasn't a whole, the car was worth like $3,500. I want to say they gave her $7 because of who my dad was, and the car was really clean. But lucky for us, Ford had, and I think they still had the program, what they called the Ford was like Family Care A Plan or something along those lines. And you basically could buy a Ford for what, if you have somebody that works for Ford in your family, you could buy one for almost what it costs them to build it, like their cost, right? I want to say we got this thing for like 22 grand, which it was a $35,000 car. Problem was, when you throw negative equity, tax tags, and what have you, I'm paying sticker. So I'm upside down the second I leave the lot. That's how the cars work. You understand that, right? Like a brand new car, the second you like register it, you don't even have to drive it off the lot. Just say, hey, yeah, it's mine. You lost $5 grand. Minimum. All day, every day. I don't care what you buy. That's how it goes. And we knew that, but what are you going to do? We need a car. So, and it kind of seemed the more expensive when you bought, the more room you had to hide the negative equity. So I played that game. I don't like that game. I'll never play it again. But we were young, and you got to do what you got to do. So we picked up this Explorer. It's an XLT. It wasn't like the Eddie Bauer top of the line, but it was a nice car. Megan liked that slate blue color. And the first one we bought, yeah, you're hearing that right. was had a tan leather interior. Now you can look at the picture I just showed you and realize this one's gray. Well, we do all the paperwork and we're ready to go. I liked the tan interior. I liked the tan interior on the Eddie Bauer because it had the tan pinstripe and the tan, fender moldings and all that kind of stuff. This one, the XLT, didn't have that. It was all like a black, charcoal black, gray type color. I don't think it had a pinstripe. Either way, we had the tan and everything, and Megan's not a fan of tan at any vehicle at all, no matter what the trim level or anything. So, but this is what we had. So it goes into detailing, and like, wash it, wax it, tire shine, the whole shooting match. And the monkey that was working there says, "Hey, you want me to take the sticker off the back?" And Megan's like, "Yeah, I don't really like them." So he goes over with the heat gun and for like a month, and then immediately grabs it. God, oh man! And I'm like, "Oh, this guy's an onion. What's he doing? Oh my God!" So then he starts spraying this thing, and I said, "What is that?" He says, "It's a solution." I said, "A solution of what?" "It's a solution. A solution is a mixture of chemicals. What do you got?" Well, I don't know what was in this thing, and I don't think he did either. But he starts kind of hitting it with like a non-metallic scraper because he doesn't want to ruin the paint, and all the paint just comes off of that thing. It was on the bumper. All just the plastic, the rubber plastic, yeah, all gone. And he looks at me. He's like, "Dude, don't tell Dad." It was my brother. I was like, "Joe, I love you, but I just financed like $30-something thousand. I'm not driving anything off the lot like that. Don't get it. It's not gonna happen." And Megan's saying, "Yeah, Joe, sorry, buddy." So like, oh man, what are we gonna do? So they're talking about popping a bumper off of another one and putting it on this one. They had a couple the same color. Megan's like, "Chaz, I really don't want it." I said, "I don't feel like pulling a bumper off of this thing either." So my dad says, "Hey, we got another one, exact same trim line, but it's got a gray interior." Megan's like, "Why didn't you show me that? I like that better." She looks at it, she's like, "Oh my God, I like this so much better than the tan." She's like, "I actually hated the tan, but I knew we needed the car." So my brother, being young and a bit of a buffoon, he helped us out. So thanks, bro. Because Megan was happy with the car she got. Now, what happened with that? I don't know. My brother probably remembers how they fixed that problem, but I left, so I'm not really sure. I think they were just going to have somebody paint it, the body shop or something, and they'll chalk it up to whatever. Hopefully, he didn't have to pay for it, but if he did, it was his fault. Yeah. But, so we get the car home, and it was 03, right? So back then, and it's starting to come back now, which I'm not a big fan of. The first thing you did was you went to like AutoZone or whatever, and you got the things that stick around the windows, and like the bug deflector on the front. And this one had a sunroof. We put the thing on the roof to the shield or whatever. Like I said, some of that's coming back. I'm not a huge fan. I'm seeing a lot of bug deflectors lately, but more molded to the thing. I guess that's better. And the things that go around the windows, they're looking a little better on some of the newer cars. I'm not the biggest fan, but they definitely were useful because you could actually crack your window and not have much rain come in there. Because remember, the old cars had rain gutters. We're getting off track, but that's fine. So Megan had this car. I don't know, maybe a month. And I get in this thing. I go to work. I'm working nights, so I'm getting off 3 o'clock in the morning, right? I'm coming home about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, I wonder how fast this thing. It had the 4.0 in it. It was peppy, little thing. This is I wonder where the governor's at. So the light turns green. Bam, I put this thing on the floor. Now, mind you guys, I'm in North Carolina, the north end of Elizabeth City. There is not a car in sight. 2 lanes, straight as could be. Divided highway, 2 lanes on the other side. And I'm like, eh. So I'm on it. It's okay. Off in the distance, I see some headlights coming towards me. Other side, right? I'm like, is that a Crown Vic? Son of a bitch. He nails the brake, spins around, gets behind me. Cop. I'm like, oh man, I'm obviously got me dead to rights. I pull over. I do not look like a fine, like upstanding citizen. I'm 26. I'm wearing a Brooklyn hoodie. I got a beanie on. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm doing 100 miles an hour in a brand new car with temp tags on it. Like, it looks like I stole this thing, right? This cop, local sheriff, comes running. He didn't even run the plate, didn't do nothing. He comes running to the window. Boy, what the hell's wrong with you? I'm like, oh man. And he's like, this here is an SUV. Why? You could be driving a Corvette like that. Just his accent was wild, and he was not happy with me. And I get it, right? So he's like, get out the damn car. So I get out of the car, and I'm like, is he going to beat me or something? Now, this guy weighed about 110 pounds soaking wet, but, you know, he had a gun and I didn't. So there's that. But so I get out, and he just chastises me. Like, you know, he's probably about my father's age. He's probably, you know, in his early 40s this time. And he's just what is wrong with that? And I was like, oh, man. So he's like, let me get your license. I give him my license. He's like, Pugly. Is that Italian? So I know now, when a Southern gentleman asks you if that's Italian, that means you're getting arrested. That's how that goes. So I said, yes, sir. He said, well, that's probably popular up there in New York, huh? And I was like, am I in a freaking movie right now? Like, are you serious? So he cussed me, right? And sticks me in the front seat of the car, which I didn't know how to take that. The back seat, when you sit in the back seat, there's little cutouts for your hands, like being handcuffed. Don't ask me how I know this, but there is, okay? So there is none in the front. And he had this computer laptop thing, so I'm like mushed against the window. And I took the beanie off. I was trying to like not look as much as a criminal, but I had like a lot of pomade in my hair at the time, and it was kind of on his window. So I was like, oh, this is so bad. So we're sitting in front of the, what do you call it? The ambulance, like, you know, volunteer fire department, ambulance, all that stuff. And he volunteered there. So he's like, you know what that is? I was like, well, it says on the building. I was like, yeah, yes, sir, I do. And he's like, you know what kind of things I pull up on? People doing 106 miles an hour? And I was like, well, yeah. So I told a couple of white lies. He's like, I said, I do, sir. I was an EMT before I joined the Navy. I was not. He's like, shoot, you ain't green then, you know. I was like, yeah. And I told him, he asked me if I had any family that was in law enforcement or emergency responders. And I did. I mean, legitimately. My grandfather, retired New York City cop. My uncle, retired New York City cop. My brother-in-law is currently still a LA County fireman. At that time, it was as well. I mentioned those. I might have said my dad was like FDNY. He was a volunteer fireman. The only guy in history, by the way, to ever ride a bicycle to a fire, so that has to count for something. All right. Yeah, probably about it. I got a cousin. Cousin Richie's a cop. He was a retired cop now. He was, he was a cop now. But we had some guys, and I might have made some things up to help my story. And he's like, all that family in there. And we start talking. And he asked me why I was doing 106 miles an hour. And I said, well, up until the time I saw you, there was nobody else on the road. And I wanted to see where the car shut off at. He's like, what? I said, come on, you got a new cruiser. You going to tell me you don't do the same thing? And he kind of smiles. And now the tow truck was already on its way to impound the car. And I asked him if he could not do that for me because my wife was at home with our young child. And I don't think I told him it was the only car I had because that was a boldface lie, and he could easily look that up, you know. But I told it was her car, and he did that, and actually called the tow truck off, and then he told me after a while we talked for probably an hour or so, probably longer than that, and he says, "I'm going to let you go." And I said, "Really? Are you kidding me?" He said, "You're getting a ticket, but you're not. I'm not going to take you to jail tonight. You're going to go home tonight." So I appreciate that. So he takes the cuffs off, and it had to be at least an hour or two. Guys, my hands were useless, right? So he goes to hand my license back. I can't move my fingers, so I kind of just did this and took it. And he's like, "What's wrong with your hands?" I said, "I can't move them." He said, "Why don't you say something?" I said, "I've seen cops, man. I don't want to be those guys. Oh, they hurt. They're not made for comfort, right?" So he kind of laughs, and I get in the car and wait to get moving on my fingers, and I drive. I was only like 3 miles from the house. I get home, and Megan's like, "Where have you been?" And I tell her I was detained, and she's like, "Whatever." And I said, "No, look at my wrist. It had the marks and stuff." And she's like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" I said, "Yeah, I got a court date and all this stuff." So I got a ticket for 106 and a 55. Reckless driving, reckless endangerment, total disregard for public safety, and everything else he could find. So I'm looking at least a weekend in jail and some hefty fines. My only saving grace, I go to court. I remember, so it used to be you had to take like your chief with you to go to court, and I was like, "No, I'm not going to do that because it kind of ruins my whole plan." And Pennsylvania license, I needed to be a Pennsylvania resident, which I was legally. So I just couldn't. If I was, they knew I was stationed there and lived there, had a house there. This could be a problem. So I didn't not tell them. I just didn't tell them. I guess I didn't. Either way, they didn't ask. I didn't tell them. So we go to court, and they ask me how I plead. And at first, walking into court, guys, the courthouse Monday morning is full of all these vultures, man. These lawyers that couldn't get a case. So they're like, "Oh, you're going to need me to represent you because I'm the slimiest dude around." And I'm like, "Get out of here, bro." So I did my research. I had a computer, guys. I was online, you know. So I pled guilty to 106 and a 55. And I want to say it was no contest is what illegally was. That was the thing. It was 20-something years ago, guys. So, and the DA is losing his mind. "You can't do that. If you're guilty of this, you're guilty of that." And the judge just looks at me and says, "Where are you stationed?" No, I'm sorry, not where you stationed. "Where are you licensed?" Well, I was licensed in Pennsylvania. I told him that. And this is before computers. Well, we had them, but he opens his book up and he goes through. So reckless driving in North Carolina is 15 miles an hour over the limit, which 106 is clearly significantly 15 miles an hour over the limit. Pennsylvania at the time was double the speed limit. So he looks at the thing, he looks back, and he's like, 4 miles an hour to go, huh? I said, "Well, Your Honor, I didn't look at it that way, but yes." And he's like, "Okay. It's going to be a 4." He kept saying 4. $45 fine plus court costs. And I was like, Megan's in the back. "That's it?" I was like, "Yo, he didn't hit the gap. What are you doing?" So that's all $145 it cost me. I didn't get any of my license and none of that. Megan was pissed because she was like, "You're never going to learn," and how I was beating up her car. So it's kind of funny. Shortly after that, we went to this pizza parlor, I think Tony's down there, and we parked the car. I think the cop kind of recognized the car. We were driving the Explorer, and then I go in with Megan, and there's 4 cops in a booth. And she's like, "Chaz, how many of them have pulled you over?" "All 4. "Gentlemen, how you guys doing? Everybody good? All right, thanks." But even in court, before he actually sentenced me or whatever, gave my fine, he asked the cop was there. He asked me, how was he at the time of arrest? He said he was very polite and courteous, and and that helped, right? I'm sure. But I didn't do it again. I mean, I've gotten tickets since then, but I definitely wised up. But yeah, we had that car for a couple years, and then there was a day it kind of just went away. I remember I was in the shower about to go to work, and Megan comes in. She's like, "My car is gone," and I'm like, "What?" It's not in the driveway. I was like, "Hold on, I'll go check it. We got a shower." And she's like, "I know what it looks like. It's not there." So somebody wanted it more than we did, and they took it, and it worked out pretty well for us, if I'm being honest, because now she needed that car for sure right before I went on deployment. She actually drove it down to Key West when the boat pulled down on there, and she would not have felt comfortable doing that in that Bravada. So her and Andrew came down. We spent like a week in Key West, wherever it was, and she drove back, and we put quite a bit of miles on that thing. We drove the hell out of that car. We even pulled the trailer with it a time or two, but yeah. Now this was right before the '06 cruise, and I had the Dakota that wasn't doing the best, and I think I mentioned in that video, um, I adjusted the bands for the last time and traded it in for a truck right across the street from Brandon's house, and it was good because instead of having two payments, we just had the one now, and she had that truck. We'll talk about that truck on another memory coming up, but the Explorer, we only had it 2 years, maybe 3, but made a lot of memories in the car, and pretty sure that was the last time I was in handcuffs, so that's pretty dope too. No, I don't think it was. Either way, we got out of it. I had a story to tell. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, guys.